Do you know what one of the most awkward parts of dating is? It's going in for the kiss. How do you know if she's ready to be kissed? Do you even try and kiss her on the first date? When do you make your move? That's an area that a lot of guys get anxiety with, and it can be really, really awkward because if you mess up a first kiss, ask most ladies, you mess up the first kiss, she's gonna think you're terrible in bed, let's be honest. She's gonna think there's no passion, she's gonna think the chemistry's not there, and it's most likely not going to work out. Getting that first kiss right, and it's still quite a romantic thing for a lot of people. They still want to get that first kiss right, but trying to figure out it can be kind of awkward. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, right? I was me and a good friend of mine, Jason Capital. A lot of you know him. He's another dating coach, big YouTube guy. Jason and I, we were down in Santa Monica. We were grabbing some drinks. I think we were at a bungalow. We were at a bar or something, and there was this guy and this girl sitting across from us. And as me and Jason were hanging out, we started to notice that there was an interesting dynamic going on with that couple. And, Jason being a dating coach and myself being a lifestyle specialist, we're quite interested in, people dynamics and the interactions with guys and girls. And so we see this couple sitting there. You could see that there was some tension. There was definitely some sexual tension. She was flirting. She was giving off all the body language signals. She was acting very feminine. She was, facing him. She was flicking her hair, her smile. She had the doggy dinner bowl eyes. She was acting. She was giving off all the attraction signs and to be honest, she was giving off quite a few arousal signs as well. But when we looked at the guy was kind of just like sat there, like straight-laced, hands on his legs. Didn't really look at the girl much. Like he would like talk to her, but it just seemed really, really weird. So Jason and I were thinking, hey, is this like a work do? Are these two on an actual date? Is it exes? We don't know what's going on because the dynamic was just it was weird. It got to a point where she was like inching closer and closer and closer to his face, right? You can see that she wanted him to kiss her. So we're thinking, well, it obviously has to be a date, right? Because, she's getting really, really close to him. And, he'd say some random things. We couldn't hear what it was saying, but he'd say something and she'd like, ha 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 ha. She'd like laugh really energetically. She was doing she was giving him all the signs. But he wasn't doing anything. Like he wasn't really reciprocating. He wasn't really making a move on her. He didn't really, when she got really close to his face, that was like the biggest obvious kiss me now sign ever. He didn't really take it. One of the things you'll start to notice when a girl's really, really into you, her body will kind of sway as she moves. It's not like a stiff, jagged movement. It's quite smooth and it's weird. It's hard to pinpoint, but if you're skilled at looking at body language, you start to notice this. When a girl's really into you, her body will kind of sway, almost like she's moving through water. Anyway, she was doing this. And as she was doing this, she was getting closer and closer to him. And you could see that her eyes were scanning his lip area, which is always, a really, really positive sign that she wants you to kiss her. She's looking at your lips. You could see that her eyes are scanning her lips area. She was patting her lips a little bit. And guy did nothing. He did nothing. Didn't do anything. So just as the sexual tension was really, really reaching its peak and you just looked at the couple and you thought that he was going to kiss her because she looked like she wanted to be kissed and she was giving off all the signals, he gets up and he walks over to the bathroom, just killing every bit of sexual tension. Killed it. There was no sexual tension going. He just deleted it. We were like, all right, let's ask this girl what's going on because we got to know. We were just too curious. It was too much of an interesting situation. So we asked the girl, we're like, hey, we kind of been noticing you two for the last few minutes, last half an hour or so. You guys are like on a date or something. You guys boyfriend and girlfriend. What's going on? And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what the fuck is going on. This guy, he's liked me for ages. He invited me out on this date and I'm really into him and I get here and he just hasn't touched me. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't really like me. I don't know what's going on. Is it my fault? Do I not look all right? This girl thought that the problem was her. Sad, man. It was so sad. She was a beautiful girl, beautiful, gorgeous girl, right? And she thought that the issue was her. He had invited her out on a date and in her own words, she had tried everything. She said, I'd given off all these signals. I mean, I'm not going to jump him, but I've just kind of put myself out there and maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe he hasn't done anything. It's not that he doesn't like her because, we're guessing that he did like her. We're going to assume that he likes her because he'd write her on a date. The issue is that it's a problem that a lot of men make. And it's a mistake that a lot of men make. And that is simply not escalating. Because if you don't escalate physically, when it gets closer and closer and closer to the kiss, it's going to feel awkward. Now, escalating physically, all that means is that you increase the intimacy of your touch with the girl. You know, you're going to start off touching each other very platonic, like touching her hand, giving her a hug. But as you escalate your physical touch, it needs to get more and more intimate. Now, the mistake a lot of guys make is that when they're out on dates, they wait to the very end of the night to try and kiss the girl. Now, that's a bit weird because you've got to think that she's not even used to you touching her yet, but yet you wait to the end of the night and you try and jump in and try and kiss her. Women have body zones, and you can't touch her one zone without going through the zones which are less intimate first. So you got to get her used to you touching her hands before you can touch her like torso, before you can go in and give her a kiss. Even if she likes you, it's going to be very uncomfortable for her if she's never touched you, you've never even held hands, you've never hugged, never nothing, and you're going for a kiss. A lot of girls will be uncomfortable about that. And even the guy himself, it's going to be awkward because you just haven't built up that familiarity in the touch. So that's a mistake that this guy made on that date, but it's a mistake that a lot of guys make as well. You've got to start touching her early and often, and you've got to get her used to you touching her. Now, don't get this confused with like diving in and groping her. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you see any couple that have an amazing date or real solid chemistry, they're touching each other a lot. Whether it's like brushes on the shoulder, hugs, caresses, you can move through these steps as long as she's comfortable with it. You know, if you're touching her hands and she's okay with that, all right, then escalate that. Escalate and start touching her torso. If she's okay with that, then keep escalating. But it's based on her pace and what she's okay with and what she's comfortable with. Problem is though, if you don't touch her at all and at the end of the night you try and kiss her, that's weird. That's just awkward. It's weird. It's icky. It makes her feel a bit weird. It makes you feel a bit weird. It makes the whole thing awkward, and the date ends up being meh. I want you guys to have the best dates with the most awesome girls so that they love the time they have with you and they want to spend more and more time with you. To do that, one of the most important things that you got to do when you're on a date with a girl is start escalating early and often. Get her used to your touch. Touch her early and often, and as long as she's comfortable with it, keep escalating if you like her. If you like her, keep escalating. That way, by the time you get to the kiss, she's so used to having you touch her. You might have even kissed her already. You might have kissed her early on in the date. But the worst thing that you can do is not touch her at all and then wait to the end of the date and try and kiss her. That literally is the worst thing that you can do. I mean, it's not the worst thing you can do. There's probably some stuff that's worse. But as a good human being, as an awesome guy, that's the worst thing you can do on a date, right? Escalate early and often. Start touching her early and often. The minute you see her, hug her. Start off with her hands and her arms, then move on to her torso, and then escalate how intimate you're touching her. Using her pace, obviously, you know, you have to make sure that she's comfortable with it, and you'll see that from, you know, the way that she responds to you touching her. But as long as you can escalate that touch, then the kiss is going to be no problem at the end. So don't forget that next time you're on a date, make sure you start escalating early and often. Get her used to you touching her. That way your date is going to go really, really smooth. Don't forget, Project Royalty, the world's #1 transformational program for men, is back on January the 2nd. If you look below this video now, there should be some links to take you over to that website where you can get some more details on that. My name is Greg C. Greenway. See you tomorrow.